There we fucking go. We got our donuts back. Alright, so this video in the tutorial series is called, let me pull it up real quick. This one is compositing. I don't know what that means, but we'll figure it out after the ad. Make this just a little bit smaller so I can see this stuff a little bit easier on my stream view. Of course, it's a triple ad. There we go. We're tweaking the lighting. Okay, so I'm switching to, let's go back into camera view, and I'm going to switch to the rendered viewport. Oh, I can't see, my glasses are filthy. Probably should have cleaned those before I started trying to stream making donuts in Blender. Eventually, I'll get to the point where I can make things like the potted plant and the utensil bowl from scratch. Eventually, but for now, I think just using the assets that already exist is going to be fine for this whole thing. They won't be too hard to make. I don't feel like the shoot, they're both going to be pretty similar to the plate, except the utensil holder is going to be more of an oval, and the like it'll just be like straight up, just extrude a little bit, extrude, extrude, extrude a little bit at a time, and then the flower pot will be to extrude and then scale out, extrude, scale out, extrude, scale out, extrude, scale out just a little bit, and just less and less until extrude and scale in until you get to the top, and then you got your curved bowl thing. But that's beside the point. Right now we're changing the sun rotation. He changed his to 89.1. I'm at 85.6. I kind of like how mine looks, but I will go ahead and change it just a little bit. .7 I think looks good. And I'll probably move the plant actually now that I think of it. I'm gonna switch to this view. I'm gonna grab these things. GX. Womp. Put the plant over here like that. Actually, bring it this way just a little bit. Go into this. Yeah, I think that looks good. And rotate that way. Gonna bring it, nope, this way like that. There we go. I think it looks pretty good. Why don't I just select all of those? And then the plate as well. And I can shift that over to like right here-ish. Actually, I'm going to shift that over that way. I'm going to go like this and, ooh, scroll down quite a bit. Bring that over this way. Like that, there we go. Go to the plant. Uh, there. Now let's go back into, let's just swap off of that. Let's go back into this view and see what it looks like with the light. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I like that the plant looks like it's getting a little bit more light from the window over this way. I think that's good. I think that's really good. Okay. Okay, so go to this uh, edit mode, face select this one, go to materials, base color, value is 0. Okay, that's already like that. I'm good on that front, I think. That's what it looks like. His is just a little bit different, but might turn up the roughness just a little bit, just to make it less reflective. And of course, I've got to wait for it to change everything all the time. Okay, he also changed his light a little bit. If I come out this way, I'm going to go into this view to make it run a little bit smoother. And if I come out this way, I go into edge select, get this guy here. Just bring it this way some. Right there, I think is good. Go back into the camera, go back into rendered view, see what it does. Oh no, that was too much. Okay, so go back into this view. try right there. No? Okay. I know it looks like garbage, but that's because every time I move anything at all, it has to redo the render. So it starts over basically from scratch. I think right there's probably good. Let's go into the camera view. Okay, yeah, I think that's pretty much back to where I had it before. But I think that's good. Oh, that was too much. Actually, you know what? Let me just go into this view. Toggle camera view. Just adjust it this way. Bring that up a little bit. Bring it down just a little bit. Bring it forward. Forward until those edges are not part of the screen. There we go. Bring it this way some. Or just a touch more. Bring it down. I think right there is good. Now let's go back into this and see what we see. I think that's better. I think that's much better. That way we get more of the plants, we get more of the utensils. Yeah, I like this. I like this a lot better. Okay, hold on. What was that shortcut they used? Okay, so I'm gonna go back into this view because it makes it easier to work with. He said shift right click. Ah, there we go. Cool. Shift A. No, shift A. No, I don't want to be in a mesh. I don't want to add a mesh. Oh, because I'm in edit mode, that's why. I want to be in object mode. Okay, hold on. I gotta go back. Okay, so we're going shift A, we're going light, and we're going area. I shouldn't have done that yet. I'll just undo that. Because I need to figure out what he actually does with it before I do anything with it. Okay, so what this is doing is it's adding fill light to that back edge of the donuts, towards the black wall here. So like from this view, it'll be the right hand side of the donuts. We're adding this area lamp to have more control over the fill light, which will be the light that would essentially be bouncing off all of the walls and counters and stuff in the kitchen, and then hitting that right hand side of the donuts. So that's what we're doing here. It's gonna be a little tough because I've got to I've got to do most of it in the rendered viewport, but for now, what I'm gonna do, I wonder, is there a way I can get it to where I don't have to see this box, this cube? I don't know. I'll just zoom in like this and do it this way. Actually, no. I'm gonna do it this way. So Shift A, light, area, place there, grab it, rotate Y, control until we get 90 up in the top left corner. Boom, click, and then grab it, scale, just make it smaller. Bring it up some, bring it up just a little bit more, like that. Bring it this way some, bring it this way some. Okay. He dropped his size way down. .19 meters. That feels extremely small to me, especially compared to what I'm seeing on his screen. Oh, that's because the scale. One. Nope, that's wrong. Okay, let's just bring it up to 4. Fuck it, 5. Not the brightest thing I've ever done in my life, but whatever. I will bring it forward just a hair. I will rotate it just a little bit more this way. Actually, rotate it just a little bit more this way. There. His power, I don't know what he dropped his power down to, 400 something small. $400 of those. I'm just gonna try to follow his settings. Alright, we're gonna go to color and make it just slightly yellowy, like that. I think that'll be good enough for us. And then I'm gonna go into camera view and go into the rendered view and see what it looks like. I might have to change some of the settings around, but we shall see. No, you know what, I actually kind of like that. I think that looks fine. Alright, let's see what he's doing. Alright, so we're getting into compositing now. So what we're gonna do is click on compositing up here. I don't know what the fuck this is gonna do for us, but we'll see. Okay, click use nodes, cool. So, what we're looking at here, same with the other nodes we worked on. This one on the far left side is the input. It's the original thing that we're working with. So like with the sprinkles, it was those 4 little guys that we made. Whereas on the far right hand side, it's the final output. It's all of the sprinkles randomized, random colors, random sizes and shapes on top of the icing on the donuts. And we're going to be putting stuff in the middle here to, as he said, add, you didn't hear it, but I'm gonna repeat, add glare to make it feel more like a real camera rather than just sitting there not doing anything. So we're gonna add, like, I don't know if it's gonna be like a couple of lens flares, or if it's just gonna be like a couple of shiny streaks or something. But we'll get there and we'll figure it out. Okay, so what I need to do now is go back to layout. I need to go to the render settings. I need to change the max samples. He said to about 100 for now. So that's what we're going to work with. That way it takes much less time. He was originally on 4,000. I was on 1,000. 100 is going to be a lot faster, but it's still going to take a while. So we're going to be doing that. So now we come in here and we hit F12. And now we're just going to wait on it to give us a proper render. I actually don't know if you guys can see what I'm seeing, and I also don't know if you guys can hear me right now, because this is taking a lot of my processing power on my computer to do this, because I'm rendering with my processor because my graphics card isn't good enough to do the renders. Why on earth did it take so many samples? Hold on, that's not right. Oh no, it says I have 6 hours remaining? No, no, no. I don't want that. Hold on. Let me try to cancel this. There we go. No. Ah, that's because that was viewport. I need to go into render and change the render to 100 samples. Aha! That makes a huge difference. Okay. Now that I know what I'm doing, sort of, you should go check out my coffee page, which was just linked in Twitch chat. I've got a goal set up there to try to get myself a new bass amp and speaker cabinet. That way I don't have to keep borrowing my other bandmates' equipment. But no one's ever required to do anything like that. It's just there if someone feels like it. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to hop into Streamlabs real quick, and I'm gonna change my screen capture to just be that screen altogether. That way, when I go back and when I go back into it and I hit F12, you should be able to see that it brings up, and you can see that it brings up the actual render window. Oh, and apparently this is going to take like 10 minutes. Awesome. So we'll be here for a minute. I was sent a TikTok from Nick, my bestest estest friend ever and the ever of the world ever, talking about apparently cannabis has now been reclassified from a Schedule 1 drug to a Schedule 3. So, Cannabis Administration and Opportunity Act. Expunge criminal records with low-level marijuana offenses. Damn. That's actually fucking crazy. Oh, and he dropped some sick. He dropped something sick at the end there. He said, let me get back to the end of the video here because wonder can I can't. I don't think I can download it. Save to camera roll. There we go. So now I can go here. Oh, hold on. Saved. There we go. Because I want to just scroll straight to the end. So he says, it will help our country close the book once and for all on the awful and harmful and failed war on drugs, which all too often has been nothing more than a war on Americans of color, which is fucking true as all hell. And I'm so glad that he dropped that in there at the end. That's fucking sick, actually. Yeah, no, I love that. That is awesome to hear. Not that I particularly know of anyone in my life in that situation, but because there are so many people in that situation that shouldn't be. It's just hell yeah. It's it's literally the least harmful, like it's literally the least harmful thing out there. Like especially compared to like the two most accessible ones, which are tobacco and alcohol. Particularly cigarettes and like chew slash dip. I think dip is the one that I'm thinking of the most. We put a little wad of it in your lip and stuff. But anyways, particularly like cigarettes and alcohol, cannabis is just fucking harmless. Like the only times it's actually like harmful is if someone makes the choice to be irresponsible with it because it's not an addictive substance. So like people can make the choice to become, well, I guess people do become dependent on it, but it's not addictive in the same sense of like nicotine or alcohol. It's much less of a chemical dependency and more of um, a dependency of like I don't know the word that I'm looking for, but anyways, uh, but yeah. So like long story short, it's the least harmful. Like it's practically harmless. I know one time that I have partaken in the inhalation of burning cannabis. Um, that was the dumbest way I could have fucking said that. But I did that, and I had a bit of a panic attack because I wasn't ready for it. I thought I was ready for it. I was not ready for it. I partook in too much at one time and then had a panic attack. And for the first like half of it, I was not having a good time. But then as it started to wear off and I started to mellow out a bit, I was having a fucking blast. So like the thing that I can suggest is I don't recommend partaking, but if someone chooses to do so, know your limits. Start small and work your way up as you build a tolerance. Don't start off heavy. Don't do a lot at one time because that's not going to work out well. Um, Again, I don't recommend it. Um, I would advise against partaking in any sort of uh non-food or beverage consumption of anything. Um, like I would advise against cigarettes. I would advise against vaping. I would advise against drinking alcohol. Um, I would advise against cannabis, edibles, or smoking, or otherwise. Like I would advise against all of that stuff. But I'm not in control of your lives. So like it is what it is. Here's the result of my render finally. So I can stop waffling about. This is the result of the render, and I don't know what we do after that. I didn't watch the video. I should have been watching the video. I was afraid that it would not work well because, like I said, this took my oh my god. So just to put into perspective the difference between me having to use my processor because my graphics card isn't up to snuff with Blender versus the guy whose tutorial I'm watching. Mine took 7 minutes 50 seconds. So basically 8 minutes for my render using my CPU. This guy was using his GPU, or rather all 4 of his GPUs, and it took him 7 seconds with the same sample rate of 100 samples. 8 minutes versus 7 seconds. It took me like 70 times longer than it took him. It is insane to me. I really need to upgrade this computer. That'll be something else that I try to do with some Twitch stuff once it starts to take off a little bit. Okay, so if I pause this, if I go back to compositing, I need to add a viewer node. Control Shift left clicking. There we go. Oh, hold on. I need to figure out why is that so big? Why is that so big? There we go. Make it a little bit smaller. Damn, it looks good though, doesn't it? I would eat those donuts. I would eat that whole plate of donuts. I'm not gonna lie. They look fucking delicious. I also just realized that he and I have a fairly similar layout. Um, in terms of front donut is pink, top left is pink, top right is brown. He's got his yellow on the third and his blue on the second. Bottom one's pink, and then he's got blue on the bottom, chocolate in the middle. But it is what it is. I also, after I do this, I need to go through and let's bring that over. After I do this, I need to go through and I need to make the purple donut just a little bit more purple, maybe add some more blue to it, maybe make it a little bit more, well, a little bit darker. Because right now it looks too similar to the pinks, in my opinion. But we'll get to that later. Let's see, what did he just say? What is this node that we're adding? Color balance. Okay, so what we do is we come into here, Shift A, color, adjust, color balance. I don't know where we're adding that. Apparently it's going on that one for now. Okay, so what this will do, the left-hand side is for like shadow stuff. Yeah, there you go. Correction for shadows. The middle is mid-tones. So like everything that's not a highlight or a shadow. And then the right-hand side is highlights. So you can mess with those and change the hue of that different stuff. Okay, so this apparently is a node that is good to know about and know what it does for various things that you're going to do, but we're not going to use it, so Control X gets rid of it. Cool. Render settings. Color management. There we go. Let me go back and see what he actually talked about. Look. Ah. Okay, so in the render properties tab over here, go down to color management and look at and come to look, and you get different things that tell you like base contrast. This is just base how it originally was, or I guess none. You can make it look punchy, which I guess darkens it a little bit. Grayscale, self-explanatory. Very high contrast, medium high, and then medium low, low, and very low contrast. This makes it look very flat. I don't like that. Shit, I just dropped something. Okay. So, he suggested a medium high contrast, which makes the shadows a little bit darker, the highlights a little bit brighter, and the midtones a little bit fuller. Just a little bit, though. Which, honestly, I like the look of. I think this is pretty good. And I know you're not technically supposed to follow the tutorial to the T, but I'm not. I've got different donuts with different icing. I've got sort of. Uh, I have a plain white icing donut in there along with the plain chocolate icing. I've got a different plant, and the plant and the utensils are on opposite sides, so on and so forth. I've got a different camera angle. I'm doing things a little bit differently, but I'm following it closely because that'll help me understand what I'm doing a little bit better. Same with streaming the process. Streaming the process is really, really helping me retain the information a lot better because I'm actually telling it to someone. And oral repetition is really, really good for retaining information. But now he is looking at the view transform thing, which I don't know what that's going to do, so I'm going to watch the rest of this video and find out. Oh, okay, it's just sticking to AGX. So the difference, apparently in older versions of Blender, the view transform was filmic, which is a little bit lighter, I would say. But we're keeping it to AGX, which helps it feel a little bit, I guess, realistic, I think is what he said, but pod bracer. Oh, did he change? I actually don't see anything changed between his and what I'm using, so I don't know what his threshold says, but our pictures look similar, and I'm gonna call that good enough. Okay, fog glow. Increase the size and set the quality to high. And that should also be dropped onto the viewer. There. Wait. Yeah, okay. Shift A, color, mix color. Okay, so then drag in both of these guys like this and like this. And instead of mix, we go add. And then this goes into there like that. My phone's telling me to check the mail. I can't do that until after stream. Oh, okay. So I have these backwards. This should go into here, and this should go into here. And then I'll move this around a little bit. There we go. That's better. I'll bring this back over and I'll bring this over this way. Just right there. So then the factor, I can bring that down quite a bit like that. Yeah, there we go. Come into here and just make it real tiny. Like that. There we go. Okay, so grab this, duplicate, drop it here, drag that over that way, drag that over that way, drag that up into there, and drag this also down into here, like that. There we go. And then set this to a 1. There we go. Yeah, okay. So we're changing that. We're okay, so what we're doing. Let me just walk through this real quick. So we have the original render that we did, and then we add a glare, which is like the starry streaks that you saw there for a second. We changed some stuff on those to make them better, and then we added another glare, which is a fog glow, which is just like the cloudiness that you see when you see glare. We have this color mix that adds them together. The bottom one, the streaks, acts first, and we drop that down quite a bit to where it's much more subtle. And then we did another color mix add to take the original render and the fog glow and the streak glare from this node, brought them in here. And again, the bottom one, which is the glare, is what this FAC controls. So we dropped it down a little bit to make it much more subtle. If I move that out of the way, you can see it's real shiny right here on this guy. These are pretty shiny. Some of these small ones are real shiny. This is shiny, but like it's subtle. And then that goes into both our viewer, which is what we see right here, and it goes into the composite, which will be the final product after the render is completely done with these nodes added to it. Cool. Okay, so he's saying that with this last addition node here, what he recommends doing is dial the FAC back until just underneath what you're comfortable with, because that's probably gonna be right. So, like, if I go back up to the 5, which I thought looked fine, like, I think that's fine. I should drop it down below. So I go to 3, and it's much more subtle. I still think it looks fine, but I'll drop it down even more to 2. Let's try 1.5. Yeah, I'll go with 1.5. I think that looks good. Like, it's a little bit less than I personally would put in, than I would like to see in there, but he said that's probably right, so that's what I'm gonna go with. Okay. So, what he's showing us now is if we bring this up some, we're on Dope Sheet right now, and he says, I don't know why Dope Sheet is the default one. It shouldn't be, but we're gonna go into here, this drop down on the far left side. We're gonna go 3D viewport, apparently, and see what that does for us. And then we should come down camera, and in rendered mode, okay, so then we go to this drop down, we come down here and we see compositor, which is currently disabled. We're going to click that over to always. Okay, so what this does for us essentially is we can see our compositing up here. We can see this compositing in real time in this rendered viewport, which I'm probably not going to use very much starting out, because that's going to, like, look, I'm not even at the 100 samples yet in this, so it's going to take too long for me to be able to use it and see it properly, but it's an option. So okay, so what he's doing is he is going through the glares. He's making sure they're only coming through on the correct objects. So if I drop the mix down quite a bit, maybe? Apparently the mix isn't doing it. I'll just pause that for now, and then I'll go into here. And see what this does for me. Bring that back down. Why is that not? Why is that not doing anything? I'm confused. What did he do that I don't know what he did. Okay, so I don't know. How did he get it to where what? He got it to where he saw only the. You know what? I'm gonna just switch this back to dope sheet just because that'll make it a little bit easier for me, I feel like. Okay, so the higher mix should be. Go back some more. Because I don't know what the hell he did. There we go. I figured it out. He has his key presses uh, on the bottom of his screen, and I had to go through and rewatch it to see what he actually clicked on his keyboard and his mouse to figure out how he got this view. And what it was Control Shift left click. So, yeah. So what I'm going to do is drop down the mix just a hair to bring back some of the original image. Not that much of it though. Yeah, I'll go to 0.9. Um, bring that over this way, and I'm gonna drop the threshold of this. Or no, raise the threshold, I think. Yeah, that way it only gets the metallic things. There we go. The high quality streaks are what we wanted. I think that'll be good. And then copy that and paste that. So that those are exactly the same. There. Okay. Okay, so he's adding more things. Shift A. Filter. No. The color, output, input, keying, mask, tracking, transform, lens distortion. There we go. Drop that in there and see what it do. Okay, so a little bit of lens distortion. And the dispersion is uh, apparently chromatic aberration. Okay, that's the final node setup. The lens distortion. So what the actual distortion does is with any camera at all that exists in the world, uh, it will the edges of the image will be slightly not really curved, but curved. Um, kind of like if you look at like a really wide angle lens like a fisheye or something, how the middle is like really bubbly blown out and then the edges like fall away almost. That's kind of what it's doing, except it's on a very, very small scale. And the fit is so we don't get those weird uh, black edges that go around like a CRT TV screen. The dispersion is chromatic aberration, which there's gonna be a little bit of that, just no matter what in an image, but very, very, very small amounts. So like you probably can't even see it in my image right now. Like, yeah, you probably can't even see any of it in here. It would be obvious around like this edge or like if I go over this way, you can kind of see it some on there. But it's such a small thing that you just realistically it's just there because it's there. Like it's not there for aesthetics or anything. It's there because it exists in life. But then this here is the rest of our node setup. All of this is as it is and as it will be forever and always. There we go. So yeah, that's that part done. Um, And he's saying that if you ever want to see your render without the compositing stuff, you go to output properties here, and all the way at the bottom you've got post processing, and then you just uncheck compositing. So yeah, that's that. I'm going to go back to layout, and I'm going to go back to material view because that'll go way more smoothly for me. Here we go. Skip that ad. It's animation time. This is a very small video. This is a 16-minute video, so hopefully it'll go by pretty quick. What we're trying to do is start with the camera above the donuts, facing down towards them, and just fall back and away to this final frame. We're looking at the timeline. Okay, so just to give a quick rundown, what we're not gonna do is we're not gonna take our camera and move it to where it's facing down at a keyframe, and then move it a little bit and tilt it to where it's facing the donuts, and then add another keyframe and move it and tilt it, add a keyframe, so on and so forth until we reach the final position. What we're going to do instead is we're going to find roughly the middle of the donuts, which is like right here-ish. That's the wrong one. There we go. Shift right click, about right there. I think that's pretty good. If I go into the camera view, you can see it's roughly the middle of the screen. That's cool. That's what we want. And then okay, so what we're doing here now is Shift A, going to empty and plane axes, and then if we go down here to data. I'm going to actually lift this up some and scroll that down. I'm actually going to go ahead and collapse some of these. There we go. The empty, we can change this to a sphere. That way we can see all of the axes as a sphere. And then change the size to be more like that. Maybe even a little bit smaller. His looks like it might be a little bit smaller. Yeah, because his goes from bottom edge of the icing to the middle of the icing. So I'll go just a tiny bit more. Yeah, I think that looks... His is, I think, 0.06, 0.04. I'm not sure. Select the camera first. Shift select this thing. And Control P. Set parent object, keep transform. Cool. Boom. Hello? Oh. Why is it not doing it? Hold on. Oh, well. There we go. Okay. So with the empty selected, I hit I, which didn't... It added a thing down here, but what did it add? Hold on. Undo that. Why is it not letting me... Why is it not bringing up that view? Hit with this guy selected, the empty specifically. Hit I. Oh. That's because it's inside the utensils jar. It needs to not be inside the utensils jar, I think. Maybe? Maybe it doesn't matter. I don't know. But it's also just not letting me... I don't see the menu pop up. Insert keyframe. I'm confused. I'm so confused. I have no idea what the hell is happening. Google, help me. Okay, go to edit, go to preferences, go to key map. Object mode. Go to this arrow. Oh. Oh, I don't like that. What? Why are there two separate things? No, I don't want that. Okay, apparently, okay. Okay, so apparently to get here, I gotta use K and rotation. Okay, so come back to this, rotation, then go back to the first frame, go back to the endpoint. Ah, okay. Hell yeah. Okay, so before I get into this too much, I'm going to change how my donuts are on the plate because I just looked at it top down and I don't like that. I don't like that at all. So I'm going to get out of that view. I'm going to go to my donuts. I'm going to select all of my donuts. GUI. Come back just a hair. And I think that is already so much better than it was before. So now if I go into the camera view, you can see they're much more centered on the plate. And as it comes down, it will lock. Cool. Okay. Go back to the empty. So what we're going to do is go into the animation tab right here. We don't need those. Cool. So change the window type to be a graph editor. I'm gonna make that a little bit bigger, like that. There we go. There we go. This is better. So, right now, it I don't remember the exact graph that it's called, but it starts and it slowly goes up and then it kind of levels out here and goes smooth and then it slows back down here. We don't want it to do that. We want it to just already be fully moving and slowly over the course of time slow down until it reaches the end. So we want it to be more of, I don't know if you can see my cursor at all. Um, but we want it to be, oh, you can see my cursor. Okay, I just saw it on my stream that I have pulled up to monitor chat. We want it to go up and slowly fall off this way. So that's what we're going to be doing. About right there. That's not what I want. Hold on. Go to this. Final endpoint. Hit S. There we go. I'll go to, I don't know, about right here. And then if I go back to getting here, yeah, that's much better. Okay, cool. Realize I was thinking I could do. Select that, hide it. There we go. Haha. Oh, that's super cool. That's super useful. Okay, so you can jump to keyframes. Shit. You can jump to keyframes by using the arrow keys. Up goes to a later keyframe, down goes to a previous keyframe, and yeah. So that's super useful. Okay, so now that I'm here, I have this selected. I have to hit K. The tutorial is saying hit I, but because Blender has been updated since this tutorial came out, we're in, I believe, 4.1 now. Yeah, he's in 4.0, we're in 4.1, so there are some changes. We have to hit K to bring up this view, and then, ooh, not yet, not yet. Let me go to this keyframe, hit K, and select scale. So now go to the front, and what we're going to do here is we're going to scale it in to where the donuts are nice and close, like this. I think is good. And then another keyframe, scale. There we go. There we go. Haha. So what I just did there, I kind of jumped the gun. Um, well, that's not helpful at all. Okay, so we had this before, right? We had this before, which is uh, our rotation animation here. Um, and if I add these back in, you see they're all kind of just straight lines. So what we do is, or what I did, I don't know if this is what he's gonna do, but what I did is I just hid the rotation so we can't see it anymore. And then I hit the home key to, well, now it's not doing it. Oh, I don't know. Okay, apparently I can get it to work now, but I got it to work a second ago. Click on normalize. There we go. So, what normalize does is it just changes the graph a little bit to where everything is more visually readable. Uh, the the Euler rotation here is still a minus 90 down here to be 90 degrees above the donuts, and it's 180 or 0, I guess, over here to be perfectly horizontal with the donuts. That's still the same. Uh, but the scale is either close down here at the bottom or far away here at the top. It's all just, it makes it all just more visually readable instead of having the rotation be the arc that it was and the scale just practically being a straight line. It just makes it a little more easy to read. Gonna hide the rotation. Oh well. Okay. He I don't think I'm gonna do it. Like if I just go back to the beginning over here, I think this looks fine. I don't feel like messing with it. Also, I didn't quite catch how he changed what he changed. So I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna keep that as it is. Go back to layout. And we'll be able to look at it like this. There we go. Real quick, I'm gonna make it colorful and see what the colorful view looks like. Hell yeah, that looks sick. Okay, but anyways, we can go to the output, and the frame rate is currently set to 24 FPS, which is, um, the way I understand it, it's like the standard for films and stuff. Um, I don't remember why. I know this Gavin from the Slow Mo guys. He talked about it in one of their videos a long time ago that I watched, but I don't remember what it was. But we can change it to anything from 23.98, which is, I think, the actual legitimate quote unquote standard, um, to 30 to 60, 120, 240. If we were if I was trying to do something for like a first person shooter or something like a really competitive, fast paced thing, if that's what I was using this for, I would absolutely go like 120 or 240 because a higher frame rate gives you more frames to register an enemy across your screen, and then you can react to that better and stuff. But that's not what we're doing here. I just realized there are a couple of sphere sprinkles. There's a blue one here and a blue one up here that are metallic that shouldn't be. Weird. That was something he mentioned in the tutorial when we were doing the metallic sprinkles, is he had one of the long sprinkles that ended up being metallic, and it shouldn't have. But like you can see, all of the other blue sprinkles are fine. It's just these two, this one down here, and this one up here. Huh. Manufacturer's error. But for the animation that we're doing, I personally am gonna stick to 30 frames per second, which will be smooth enough. I will also need to get rid of my little sprinkles down here. But yeah, 30 FPS is perfectly fine for what we're doing. I could go 60 and have it look a little bit smoother, like if I go to 60. You can see the animation isn't nearly as long because it's taking our 160 frames and jamming them into 60 frames per second, which brings it down to like just under 4 seconds, just over 3 seconds. About 3.5. We'll just say about 3.5 seconds. It's smoother, but it's faster. We could go 120 and it would basically just be a 1 second animation. Or we could go 240 and it would be a half second animation. Actually, probably not quite half, because half would make it 320 frames per second, but we don't want that. So I'm gonna go to 30 FPS. That way, it stays nice and smooth, but it also stays nice and long. So that's what I'm gonna do. It would also require, if I went to 60, it would also require twice the render time, because you're rendering twice as many frames per second. So I'm just sticking to 30 FPS. So yeah, that's not what I meant to do. I meant to click on the video and see what he's talking about. Okay, so what we need to do is change the end frame. We change the end to 160. That way, it only goes from frame 1 to 160. So now, instead of having that weird long pause at the end, it just instantly loops. There we go. Hell yeah. Boom. Donuts. Okay, so what I am going to do is I'm going to come down here. I'm going to find our little sprinkles down here. Hey guys, how's it going? I'm going to select each, ooh, not that one. Each of these sprinkles here, I'm just going to hide them. That way, they don't show up in the animation because they were visible right down here. And we don't want that. We don't want them to be visible right here. Alright. That is essentially the final animation. There are 2 more videos in the series, rendering and finale. Rendering is 30 minutes long, finale is 10 minutes long. I will do one more stream tomorrow. Tomorrow will be the actual proper 4 reels finale of this, because we're just going through rendering, and then that's it. It is a completed animation. So I might also actually, now that I think about it, let me do this. Let me go donuts. Select the donuts and select the plate. Just gonna move them back just a hair. Not that far. I'll put them right here. Oh shit, I need to also select the empty. You know what, I'll just do it that way. There we go. Cool. So now, select. Ooh. Oh, that's taking the camera with it. I don't want to take the camera with it. Shit. Fuck. I should have done that before going through the animation. Oh well, this will be fine. Really quickly, I will go into the rendered viewport, and I will press play. It looks like shit, but that's because it has to render every frame. There, we'll just go here. And then I'll zoom in to where the camera is basically the full screen. Drag that down some. There. Okay, I'll let that do its thing. And I will say thank you so much for watching, everybody that did stop by to watch. If you haven't already, please feel free to follow. Or if you really enjoyed what you saw and you would like to see more, you can subscribe for $5 or for free with Twitch Prime. All of the VODs go up on my YouTube channel, Sharoof_Crag, which you should definitely go subscribe to. Any clips that I garner from streaming go to my TikTok, also Sharoof_Crag. And if you want any stream-related updates, my Twitter is at Sharoof_Crag. Everything has the same handle and the same profile picture. And I have a link tree linked here on Twitch and on all of my socials that takes you to all of my socials, and it also takes you to my Ko-fi, where you can help support me in trying to get a new bass amp and speaker cabinet, which sorry, I forgot that I wanted to do that. There we go. That works. Okay, let's come back to here and just click off of that. That'll be fine. But yeah, no one's ever required to support me on those things because it's a direct monetary thing. I'm not gonna ask people to do that unless they truly are able and want to. Oh shit, I need to move that front donut too. I'll do that off stream. But But yeah, so that's there. The link tree also has my Throne account where you can help me upgrade my stream setup by contributing to the purchase of mouse, keyboard, Xbox controller, webcam, stuff like that. Give you guys a better viewing experience. Again, no obligation or requirement. It's just there if you feel like it. Man, I am out of it at the end of the stream today. Go follow my band, Death Valley Band, on Twitch, at Death_Valley BND on Twitter, Death_Valley_Band on TikTok and Instagram, and I believe the Facebook page is at DeathValley.bnd. They all should have a link tree. If they don't have a link tree, they'll have a link to our website where you can learn more about us and check out our some highlights from our TeePublic shop. It would be awesome if we could get some support for the band, because we really want to make music. That's like our whole goal in life, for all four of us. So that would be pretty sweet. You should also support my girlfriend Rudy Queen here on Twitch. She streams art and games sometimes. If you want to see any of her past art that she's made, go to her Twitter at Queen of Rudy's, where she also has a TeePublic link of merch that she herself has designed. So definitely check that out. I think I've said all of the social stuff, so use code CRAG10 to get 10% off your Havoc Energy order. Check out their new gummies that they have available. They're organic, non-GMO. Pretty fucking awesome. Check it out. Otherwise, like I said, I'll be back tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. There's a slim chance that I'll be live again later this evening. It depends. Always be ready for surprise afternoon streams, because who knows, I might be playing Siege with the boys and popping off a little bit or something, you know? It happens. So yeah, go check that stuff out. I'll be back tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Peace.